being mad to being happy that he coming to now he talking to me, so I'm back mad again. I'm thinking about all the shit they saying on the radio. I'm thinking about how he talking right now, and I'm thinking about who I am, and I'm like, yo, this disrespecting me. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh, when we done, you ain't gonna be able to get that bag. Chill out, we cleaning up, baby girl.
I'm gonna come with Roc Nation, right? And what they want to offer me on Roc Nation, they want to offer me a songwriting deal. You feel what I'm saying? Like where I do songwriting. So basically, they don't want to give me an artist deal right now. They got credits on Jay-Z first Reasonable Doubt album. Even right now, Peter Panic didn't get his shmoola. He didn't get his racket. He didn't get his...
Cassidy just set the record straight, and it's wild. He claimed Roc Nation turned him untouchable overnight, but not in a good way. Doors slammed shut, deals disappeared, and his name wiped off like he never existed. Now he's going full throttle.
He like the nicest, what? He like the nicest where? Like, he like him? He like this nicer than who? He ain't nicer than my niggas. You ain't just heard my niggas that I had on the record.
In a recent interview, the Philly rapper exposed what most artists are scared to even whisper. He peeled back the industry's polished surface and said, Roc Nation's got a silent grip that's deeper than anyone thought. This wasn't some emotional outburst. It was a calculated shot at the top dogs. He's naming names, pointing fingers, and breaking down what really goes down when you don't play their game. And just when it started heating up, Memphis Bleek, Jay-Z's day one ally, jumped in to respond. But Cassidy wasn't fazed.
Oh, when we done, you ain't gonna be able to get that bag. Chill out, we cleaning up, baby girl.
He doubled down, saying, Roc Nation, under Jay-Z, isn't just calling shots in music, it's running the whole show. And not always in a positive way either. He spilled about endorsement deals that got snatched away, business partners cutting him off out of nowhere, and phones going dead the second he pushed back. To him, none of that was random. It felt planned, like he was iced out on purpose. He didn't outright say Jay-Z made those calls, but he didn't need to. Cassidy's message was loud. Roc Nation doesn't need a press release to shut someone down. They move in silence and still shake the room. Cassidy didn't just speak up. He straight up warned everybody. He said going against this quiet control isn't just risky, it's career suicide. In his own words, once you challenge the system, they make sure you don't eat. And it's not just music. He's talking brand deals, tours, even podcast invites. People start dodging you like you're toxic.
Would have signed this $15K, would you have told me you made a mistake? And then you made a $750,000 mistake? I don't want to do business with who make mistakes that big. You gonna f my business up.
Not because you lost your edge, but because they're scared of catching heat. And here's the twist. He's not only talking about himself, he hinted that a lot of new artists, especially the independent ones who don't sign with the right teams, are getting blocked before they even get their shot. These artists drop fire tracks, build loyal followings, even go viral. But when it's time to level up, silence. Cold silence. The way Cassidy laid it out was downright chilling. He laughed. Not because it's funny, but because of how slick the game is. They don't gotta say your name, he said. They just make the right calls to the right people, and boom, your whole lane disappears.
They wanted to give me $350 with a $75,000 signing bonus. And I was like, nah, they didn't want it. And he like, yo, you know what $75,000 could do for you?
Just like that. So while some people might try to play him off like he's bitter or washed up, Cassidy's words don't sound like a rant. They sound like a decoded blueprint. A message for every artist out here wondering why raw talent just ain't cutting it anymore. And that silence, it's not peaceful, it's enforced. But the craziest part, Cass isn't alone in this. What he's saying lines up with whispers that have been bouncing around the industry for years. This ain't just random drama, it's starting to look like a full-on playbook, a silent system designed to shut down anyone who refuses to play by the rules. Let's break it down. First up, Jilly the Kid. Way before the podcast stardom, Jilly was one of Philly's top lyricists. Back in the early 2000s, Rockefeller pulled up trying to sign his group, Major Figures, but the offer, straight up disrespectful. 7 people in the group, but only 12 points to split. Jilly said they'd have to sell a quadrillion records just to see real money. So he passed. That's when everything flipped. Jilly's cousin Wallow later exposed that Jay-Z didn't take that no well at all. According to him, Jay told Jilly directly, "I'ma make it hard for you." And just like that, doors started closing. Cassidy never name-dropped Jilly, but the pattern is loud and clear. Turn down Roc Nation, the industry goes ghost. No features, no bookings, no nothing, and Gilly ain't the only one. Tory Lanez reportedly curved a Roc Nation deal too, and later blasted them for stealing from the culture. Not long after, the Megan Thee Stallion case exploded across headlines, but look deeper. Behind the scenes, things got shady fast. His songs started disappearing from playlists. His music got buried on streaming apps, and radio stations dropped him, all before any conviction. Now, whether or not you think Tory was in the wrong, the timing raises serious questions. The pattern's starting to show. Say the wrong thing, reject the wrong deal. And it's like someone hits the mute button on your whole career. It all lines up. Same moves, different faces. Nicki Minaj had a quick link up with Roc Nation back when her label situation started getting shaky. They dangled a title deal in front of her and promised her a major push. But Nicki wasn't feeling it. The vibe was off and she trusted her gut. She walked away before it turned messy. Another artist who didn't play the game and kept her power. Then there's Lil Wayne. He had history with Roc Nation too, turned down deals more than once. And then, boom, the Super Bowl lands in New Orleans, his home turf, and he's the obvious choice to headline. But nope, he got snubbed. Guess who had a hand in producing that show? Roc Nation. And instead of Wayne, they put Kendrick Lamar up there, who just happens to be a longtime rival of Drake, Wayne's close collaborator. Maybe it's a coincidence, or maybe it's something deeper. Then you've got La Russell, another name who stood his ground. Roc Nation came at him with a flashy lowball deal, and he didn't just decline, he called them out in public. That's rare. Not many speak up and walk away clean. OG Product says they didn't want it, and Justice Penn, he claims some of the Reasonable Doubt writers still haven't been paid to this day. One artist even said a whole track got lifted from him. And ghostwriting, that's not even the problem. It's the silence around it all that's got people talking. Control, that's the real game Roc Nation's playing. It ain't just about who gets signed, it's about who gets seen and who gets shut out, who gets the mic and who gets straight up muted. Cassidy didn't start this fire, but he's the one making people finally pay attention. What's being exposed is deeper than deals. It's a whole system built on silence and quiet erasure. Say no to the wrong folks and suddenly, nobody's checking for you. Now here's where it gets real slick. Roc Nation hasn't dropped a single press release to deny Cassidy's claims or anybody else's. But they've responded in their own way. Not loud, not direct, but with polished interviews and smooth sound bites. The message? We hear the noise, but we're not stressing it. Just look at what Roc Nation co-presidents Sherry Bryant and Omar Grant said not long ago when talking about their artist signings. Grant's words had people side-eyeing. He said, "The main thing is based off of gut. We still believe in signing artists and developing them off of their talent and who we feel like is going to be a long-term superstar." Sounds chill at first, but let's be real. That kind of approach is pure subjectivity. Cassidy pointed it out clear as day. When you base careers on gut feelings and who you think is star material, what you're really saying is, we pick who we want when we want. And if it's not you, too bad. That type of language, it's just vague enough to give Roc Nation all the cover they need. No accountability, just vibes. They never have to admit to blackballing anybody. All they gotta say is the artist didn't fit the vision or wasn't aligned with the brand. It's always framed as business, never personal. But for the artists getting shut out, it feels personal every single time. And Roc Nation's got the reach to make those gut feelings turn into real consequences. We're talking curated playlists, front page placement, festival headliners, halftime shows, movie cameos, and brand sponsorships. Their cosign doesn't just boost your career, it builds it. So when Cassidy says he got frozen out and Roc Nation hits back with, "We just didn't feel it," what they're really saying is, we run the gate. If you're not who we choose, that's the end of it. And once Cassidy started speaking Jay-Z's name out loud, you already knew what was coming next. Memphis Bleek had to step in. That's Jay's ride or die from the beginning. The same guy who once turned down a $75,000 deal just to stay loyal to the Roc. So when Cass threw those jabs, you already know. Bleek clapped back. Word on the street is he checked Cassidy straight up, no sugarcoating, just like someone who's seen how Roc Nation really moves from the inside. And honestly, that ain't anything new. Bleek has always held it down for Jay. Every time things start getting messy, he steps in and plays defense, like clockwork. Remember when Nicki Minaj threw what looked like some slick shade after getting left off the Super Bowl lineup? The blogs ran wild with it. Folks saying she was salty, maybe even had beef with Jay-Z over the snub. Bleek didn't say her name directly, but the message was loud. Instead of firing shots, he played it smooth. He reposted a clip of Jay explaining how artists flip on him, not because he did something to them, but because he didn't do something for them. They don't say I did anything to them, Jay said. They say I didn't do something for them. Boom. Just like that, the narrative flips. The message? People only catch feelings when the Roc doesn't come through with what they feel they're owed. Bleek even told her to chill, and that calm tone hit harder than shouting ever could. So when Cassidy started talking, Bleek didn't see truth. He saw a tantrum. To him, Cass wasn't exposing the system. He was just mad he wasn't on the winning team, and Bleek didn't need to say much. That low-key silence, that's his style. He watches, stays loyal, and only speaks when it cuts deep. If you thought Cassidy's story was wild, this next part might leave you straight up stunned, because now it's not just about artists getting blackballed. It's about serious allegations aimed at the very top of Roc Nation. Desiree Perez, the CEO herself, is being named in court documents. And these ain't petty industry gripes. We're talking fraud, wiretapping, and even claims that she tried to get her own daughter institutionalized, with fake medical staff pretending to be Nike execs. Yeah, you heard that right. Allegedly using Roc Nation's power and connections to pull it all off. Crazy, right? But here's why it matters. This isn't just gossip. It shows that power inside Roc Nation isn't just a theory. It might be a real, documented pattern. If the same leadership being accused of pulling strings at a criminal level is also the one managing artists, locking in tours, and shaping public images, then Cassidy's claims don't sound like a bitter ex-star. They sound like the tip of something way deeper. This goes way beyond music beef or behind-the-scenes drama. This might be a whole system of control, run from the top and hidden in plain sight. If any of these accusations stick, then the real question is, how far does this silence stretch? And how many voices got buried while the machine kept spinning? Now here's what really flips it all. Cassidy might have lit the match, but the fans, they already had the blueprint. Long before he ever spoke out, people online were piecing it together. Social media was buzzing with theories, threads, and screenshots. And now it's all lining up with what Cass has been saying. Fans didn't just back Cassidy, they came with receipts. One post laid it all out, dropping a full list of black artists allegedly signed under RCA Records, who, according to fans, got sabotaged while being connected to either RCA or Roc Nation. Names like Normani, Tinashe, Bryson Tiller, H.E.R., SZA, Khalid, Victoria Monet, Jasmine Sullivan, Lucky Day, Brandy, Elle Varner, Jordan Sparks, Fantasia, Jennifer Hudson, and Marsha Ambrosius. That's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. These are all artists with real talent, real fans, and real critical acclaim. But somehow, they all seem to hit the same invisible ceiling. Different sounds, different lanes, but the same mysterious stall in momentum. Another fan went straight for the jugular, saying, "Everyone at Roc Nation moves shady." They want people to believe their artists are bigger than they really are. It's embarrassing. That frustration, it mirrors exactly what Cassidy's been saying. Roc Nation isn't just gatekeeping the game, they're engineering influence. And if you're not part of their chosen few, you're quietly pushed to the edge. No spotlight, no air. Then there was the fan who took things even deeper, claiming Roc Nation's actions aren't random at all. They believe there's a whole hidden strategy at play. According to them, Roc Nation played a role in freezing out Chris Brown from the industry after the Rihanna incident, and allegedly kept Rihanna herself low-key to make sure Beyonce stayed front and center. They even suggested Roc Nation had influence in Tory Lanez legal situation after the Megan Thee Stallion shooting, and that there's been tension with Young Money for years. Some fans think Roc Nation is now using Kendrick Lamar like a chess piece to strategically undercut Drake. Yeah, sure. Some of this might sound like wild conspiracy talk at first. But when fan theories start lining up with real stories from real artists, it stops sounding like speculation and starts feeling like insider truth finally breaking through the cracks. Whether it's Cassidy putting it all on the line, Nicki dropping hints, or fans connecting the dots one post at a time, the picture is getting way too clear to ignore. People are waking up. That polished, squeaky clean image Roc Nation worked so hard to build, it's starting to crack. And the longer they stay quiet at the top, the louder those whispers turn into full-blown conversations. With shadow bans, quiet blackouts, and shady backdoor deals coming to light, folks aren't buying the smoke and mirrors anymore. They're finally seeing the patterns. And Cassidy, he might sound heated, but sometimes those loudest rants are screaming from the rawest truth. So here's the real question. How many more artists gotta vanish, get ghosted, or mysteriously fall off before we admit it ain't always about talent? Sometimes it's about falling in line and staying silent. But guess what? Cassidy's not standing alone anymore. Another Roc Nation insider just stepped up, and they're dropping names too. This story, it's growing fast and it's only getting darker, so keep watching, stay questioning, and if this video struck a chord, drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think they'll try to silence next? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and tap that bell, because this ain't the last name we're gonna hear, not even close. See you on the next one.